about the review of the selected journal. The title of the journal is Does Corporate Integrity Improve the Quality of Internal Control? I will present for the part of introduction. In order for the big firms to survive, big companies today are all deconstructing themselves and creating new structures such as small medium enterprise, which generate 2/3 of employment. The percentage of firms are 95% of it is small medium enterprise. Some research also stated that the fastest growing 4% of small medium enterprise will generate 50% of the jobs in that group within 10 years. The journal of the study are all related to the study corporate integrity, which are significantly associated with internal control weaknesses. In this journal, the authors have stated 4 characteristics of entrepreneur, which entrepreneur that innovate products or services and turns it as an opportunity of businesses, which also contribute in generating the job opportunity for locals and peoples. Next, entrepreneur that thrive in and create changes to the market supply and demand factor in businesses. This entrepreneur runs the research and development in order to create new factor of push and pulls between market, supply and demand, and customer. Third, entrepreneur that accept risk and uncertainty in doing something new when the normal business people would not do it. Most of the entrepreneurs are some who is willing to take the loss of profit in doing some development to existing product and services. And lastly, entrepreneurs were the ones that are defined by the actions, as most of the ordinary people were not willing to do what entrepreneurs do. Next, for the part of issue or problem of this journal. Corporate integrity is significantly and negatively associated with internal control weaknesses. In other words, the negative association between corporate integrity and internal control weaknesses is more significant when the legal development or market competition is weaker. The objective of this study is to measure the data of corporate integrity and examine the relation between corporate integrity and internal control quality. Furthermore, the study objective is to investigate whether and how corporate integrity culture can affect internal control quality in Chinese listed firms. The research question is important as the internal control system play a crucial role in protecting the interests of investors around the world since the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is SOX of 2002 was enacted.
The next part is theory, which is the connection between the issues and the theory. Within the finding in this journal, it is clearly stated that the research are doing entrepreneurial activities in association with an existing organization or instigate renewal or innovation within that organization. It also involving the corporate entrepreneurship or corporate venturing exists within the research and development departments in organization to support and create value for other functional departments in the organization. In addition of these activities are the activities of bringing the market insight by concerning the structural changes needed to encourage entrepreneurial behavior, which also involve the market approach to resource allocation and people management. Finally, it also related to the spin-off and venture capital of operations in businesses.
In part of discussion and recommendation, there are 2 points from the journal that I will be highlighting in this discussion. Malaysia has targeted to achieve the vision of 2020 to become a developed nation, but there are much more steps to be taken in improving the accountability of public sector. The study has attempted to measure the status of current practice of accountability in public sector and how accountability in Malaysia is influenced by the corporate integrity culture, internal control system and leadership quality in the public sector of Malaysia. From the finding of the study, I can conclude that the establishment of the Malaysian Institute of Integrity has accomplished the aspiration of the stakeholder in this country for improving public sector internal control quality. The public sector is being accused for being inflexible in carrying out their daily activities and being accused for many bureaucratic red tape. Therefore, to accommodate and serve with efficiency, the practices of the control system should be linked with the practices of the accountability. At the same time, the control system also need to be developed and modified to reduce the complexity and offer the sufficient protection to the stakeholder as a whole. Second, continuous development of the leader should be at the higher priorities as it will affect directly the public sector accountability, strengthen the government training system, and facilities should be seen as a crucial tool. The conducive environment around the public sector's organization is vital to develop human capital which share the vision and mission with the stakeholder. Perhaps by applying various set of leadership style in different situations and organization, it could nurture the ability of the department in instilling accountability within its employee and environment as well as the public sector at large. As the government is heading toward to become a developed nation, the function of leaders are need to perform all the government transformation program and the economic transformation program. Thus, it will ensure the national prosperous and people's well-being. This study will help the policymakers to ensure better accountability and improve the efficiency in the public sector. Through this study has focused on China, the finding of the study will be helpful for the context of other similar countries such as Malaysia. However, the current research is based on the cross-sectional data, and researcher has relied upon the survey information. Furthermore, beyond the scope of the study, there are many other factors that may contribute to the enhancement of the accountability, such as transparency, organizational culture, reward and punishment.
So the final part of this research is we need to identify one main weakness of the journal and suggest way to improve it. So there are actually one main weaknesses of the written journal that we found to be studied on. These articles are quite hard to digest by us as the amateur. It is also hard for us to understand the process of research, including methodology sections, discussions, and recommendations. The paper of this journal could be better if the writers could look at the paper as an outsider. To keep in mind that someone who is not involved in the study of the same field that will be reading the paper. Therefore, the writing must be precisely and clearly convey the key story without over-interpretations. Lastly, there are also some minor improvise needed to be organized for those three sections which contain the element of discussions of overall study, which will include the findings and recommendation in chapter 4 of the research. As the second questions, which is the realistic improvement recommendation clearly supported, presented, and theory, which will include all key data to convey a complete journal. The paper of the research have to be telling a complete whole story. It should start by include all relevant data to the story, which include the research topic, and next to be carried by the methodology process. Furthermore, research need to include at least a few figures that are created as the relations of studies, which could be the theoretical framework, independent and dependent variable, for example. However, it is a need to be careful about splitting the data into two manuscripts, which could simply increase the number of publications. On the other hand, if the journal are missing a piece of information to draw a conclusions, it would be imperative that you can still perform the necessary experiment if it's still possible at this stage, and still secure the include data. As for the conclusion that is need clearly stated the connections to the corporate entrepreneurship field. So the corporate integrity does affect the efficiency of informations, communications, and transmissions within an internal structure of the establishment. Focusing on the development of integrity and moral values can promote better communication, which can ultimately improve internal quality control. All levels of management must clearly communicate and deliver the ethics and values learned within the company they manage. These values have to be simplified firstly and could be delivered in two form of ways, either formally or informally. So the formally one work within a written codes of conduct in meetings, policies, procedures, and etc. While in informal method that could be delivered through days of operations and during working operations. There is no internal control system that can curb self-interest behavior without the presence of a faithful, ethical, principled management team. Hence, the tuning of the adapted system and the way it is delivered within the company is crucial, as it is to ensuring the effectiveness of the system. That's all from us. Thank you.